Construction has begun on Egypt's glowing new capital megacity, which promises to ease the tangle of its overpopulated capital, Cairo. Located 40 kilometers from Cairo, the $45 billion yet-to-be-named megacity is set to replace the tired Cairo capital, with the government promising, quote, a new culture, new community, and a new worldwide center of lodestone. Cairo has been the capital of Egypt since 950 BC. Egypt's current moderator, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, was set to move to this new city in 2019. However, more likely due to the global health situation, there have been significant delays with the megacity being built. And in today's video, we're going to take a look inside Egypt's billion-dollar administrative capital. But before we jump into all that, if you like this video, then please give us a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content just like this, and ding that notification bell so you never miss another update from us. Egypt's overpopulation issue. In 2020, a little girl from Minya Governorate became Egypt's 100 millionth resident last week. While she is a blessing to her parents, it isn't a case of the more the merrier in the grand scheme of things. One of the more serious threats to Egypt's future is its rapidly growing population. It's fallen during the Mubarak years in the 2000s, but has since risen again after the Arab Spring and under former Prime Minister Mohamed Morsi. The government is frantically trying to rein in the rise. It's selling contraceptives for dirt cheap. And it's even started a public health initiative called 2 is Enough. But it's far too early to see results. Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, Egypt's new president, has characterized it as a greater threat than terrorism. The country's resources are still stretching thin, and problem-solving solutions seem to be falling behind. The concerns are numerous and nuanced, but jobs and resource distribution are perhaps the two most concerning. Every year, more than 700,000 new people join Egypt's labor market. In a couple of years, it's expected to reach an all-time high of 80 million people. Although the government has attempted to create jobs, unemployment is now at 8%, down from 12% in January 2017, but from a low of 7.5% in June of last year. It's difficult to keep up its own, and the private sector has lagged behind. The numbers are similarly alarming when broken down, where only 40% of working-age Egyptians are employed. This low figure is due in large part to the low female production rate, which stands at less than 25%. With over half of new entrants entering the informal economy and working without pensions, contracts, or health benefits, job quality has also suffered. The ratio of unemployment to educated people has remained stable, including the high standard of jobs available. But it's not just bad news. Middle-skilled workers, such as factory, construction, and vocational trades, are on the rise, signaling a long overdue revival in the sector. It is difficult to control population growth in a world where children are seen as a gift, or, more technically, as a sound investment. They work and provide insurance for parents who cannot afford it. Other countries with similar, if not worse, economic and demographic problems have, on the other hand, successfully tackled this issue. Egypt must confront its demographic problem head-on as part of a comprehensive strategy. It's a complicated equation, but it is critical to boost climate change mitigation and water resource management, as well as encourage the private sector to drive economic development and job creation instead of relying on an obsolete public sector-driven growth model. If Egypt does fail to address these issues comprehensively, the consequences are not promising. Egypt's comprehensive efforts to control the overpopulation. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi had called on the media and universities to raise public consciousness about Egypt's population growth in a ceremony hosted by the Egyptian Armed Forces on October 11th. Egypt's population is expected to rise to 194 million by 2050, according to Sisi. Quote, "This will further worsen the feeling of poverty among the citizens, requiring the state to double all the resources in order to cope with the accelerating population growth," Sisi warned. He continued, quote, "Egypt is a country with a special topographical nature. Although Egypt's area amounts to 1 million square kilometers, not all the lands are fit for living." To help slow Egypt's soaring birth rates, the government launched a family planning program called 2 is Enough in late September, with the aim of changing deeply integrated cultural practices in high-fertility governmentades, where children are seen as a key labor supply, and an insurance policy for old age. Quote, "This campaign targets 1.2 million families in 10 governorates with a view to convey the message that the population growth derails the development gains," Minister of Social Solidarity Naveen El-Quibij said in a TV interview on October 12th. According to the minister, 1,200 health educators and 2,000 volunteers are working to raise community awareness about the issue on the ground. Quote, "The president has also promised to provide us with 7,000 additional volunteers to be able to help change the attitude about high birth rates," she said, adding that over 600,000 women have benefited from the health clinics, which have been established as part of the PR program. Along with a more accessible birth rate control to help regulate population levels in Egypt, the country has also put forth the idea of being able to create an entirely new city so as to ease the pressure on Cairo. The city has been underway for quite a while now and is said to be very modern and high-tech. Unfortunately, due to the global health situation, construction in the city was halted for quite some time and the opening was significantly delayed, but they have since began working on the city again, which is said to be housing around 6 million residents, building a new city to combat overpopulation. Egypt is fighting to prepare a brand new capital metropolis in the desert east of Cairo before the first civil retainers move in this summer and ahead of the delayed officer opening of the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's flagship program. At the heart of the metropolis, workers are putting finishing touches to the Avenue of Ministers, which echo the infrastructure of pharaonic temples and adjoin a raised Islamic complex, a two-domed Congress structure, and a sprawling presidential intermixture. There will be a railway which passes through a business quarter where a 385-meter center hall is close to completion. Beyond the outlines of a 10-kilometer premise, a giant mosque is being built. The metropolis, simply known as New Administrative Capital, is designed to operate with smart technology on virgin land out from the clutter and chaos of Cairo. It'll boast universities, diplomatic quarters, and leisure facilities. However, after Emirati support fell through shortly after it was revealed in 2015, the military and government had assumed responsibility for the estimated $25 billion cost of the first step, injecting off-budget spending, which has been possible to obtain through some international loans and funding. The global health situation has also greatly slowed down the progress of this new city and the first 3 planned phases. 3 phases over 168 square kilometers will not be completed by the time the government officials begin moving into the new capital. Quote, "The rate of completion of the first phase has passed 60% across all projects," says Khalid Al-Husseini, spokesman of the new capital. The city's being built as a futuristic high-tech model for Egypt, and according to officials, control centers will electronically track infrastructure and protection. Roofs will be covered in solar panels, payments will be cashless, and 15 square meters of green space will be allocated per inhabitant. Quote, "We're trying to solve all the problems which we had in the past in the new capital," said El-Husseini. The new city is expected to house at least 6 million people, which will help ease the overpopulation that's currently occurring within Egypt's current capital, Cairo. The building will take decades, but the government will be able to work normally during that period, according to Mir Khattab, spokesperson for the Housing Ministry, which is in charge of completing parts of the region. It's unclear at this point how far, as well as how quickly, that Egypt's center of gravity would move away from Cairo and towards that new capital, which is 45 kilometers from the Nile. Thousands of residential blocks on either side of the highway, which are heading into the city, are currently vacant. The business district, which has yet to be marketed, is expected to be completed in 2023. Electric train and monorail connections are currently being established. Shuttle buses will be given to the first 50,000 civil servants who are scheduled to move to the new capital this summer. According to Khattab, about 5,000 of the 20,000 housing units in the first residential area, which is set to open in May, have already been sold. Sisi's office announced on Monday that 1.5 billion Egyptian pounds, or $96 million, in bonuses would be offered to civil servants that choose to relocate to the capital. Officials state that the city will eventually provide affordable housing and will fund itself through land sales, but it is unknown how much money has been raised so far. According to Husseini, around $3 billion of the $25 billion expenses for the first step is being spent on the government district. Quote, "We are not leaving Cairo or Alexandria or Port Said or other provinces. We are moving forward with the old and the new together," the president said last week. The capital's opening would mark the quote-unquote birth of a new state, he added. Although there is support for the government's claim that the new capital would help to revive Cairo's traffic congestion, there is also some fear that it will be too expensive and inaccessible to many. Quote, "Some classes will be able to live there, others won't," says Ala Ibrahim, a 39-year-old electrician in Cairo's impoverished Mbaba district. So there you have it. Unfortunately, we don't have much info about what the new city looks like as it has yet to be finished, but what we can say about it is that the city will be high-tech and extremely modern. We're super excited to see it all come together. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as well as ding that notification bell so you never miss another update from us. Until next time, folks, we'll see you later.